So hello and welcome back. Today I'd like to address something that's been crossing my path lately. A little bit personally, always, but also with clients and friends that have been crossing paths. Really, I'll just open it up with a question first. If you've ever noticed, have you ever noticed, where everything seems to be going perfectly, everything's fine, and then all of a sudden something happens, what I would say maybe a trigger that happens, and then immediately you shift and you step into another story. You step into a different way of being, a different way of relating to others, different way of relating to yourself, where you step into this, what I call the blind, stubborn one. You're so stubborn and so blind, that part of us is so stubborn and so blind. It wants to remain in this place of victimness or judgment or helplessness, hopelessness, anger, frustration, projection, whatever the story is. We're so stubborn in that space, that place that takes over, that we want to stay there. And we may stay there for minutes, or we may stay there for hours, days, weeks, months, years. And it's a blind one. It's this blind one who refuses to see the truth. So my question is, have you ever gotten in that place? I know the answer. And yet the question is, have you ever gotten that place where the blind, stubborn one takes over? And it's like immediately, it's almost like schizophrenia, where you become another person. In that moment, or those moments, or those hours, days, weeks, you become another person. It's something like when the bill comes and you can't pay it, or mom calls and she says the exact thing that sets you off, or the relationship you're in says, that person, in my case, if it was my partner, saying the exact thing that would set me off and set me into a spin. For me, I get to go back to this piece of if things aren't working for them, for my partner, then it's my opportunity to remain in my center. But when that gets triggered, do I go into the story of she's going to leave me? Or is she going, because she's not happy with the way I'm doing this or living my life, is she going to walk out? Or that good-looking guy at work, is he going to say the right thing? And then what happens if my partner would bring something like that up? Oh, I talked to so-and-so today and he's really cute. All of a sudden, that jarring is then an opportunity for me to go into this old story and go into this stubborn blind one and re-engage in this story of whatever's happened to me in the past. So my question is, has that happened? And then what do you do about it? So do you stay in that space and then project it onto your partner and stay in the spin, or do you make a shift? And how do you make the shift? So my invitation today is to realize, to invite, to invoke the master within you. That one that is so strong, so clear, so powerful, that when those voices come in, those old stories creep in, and the judgment wants to take hold, or we get swept up, or before we get swept up into the story and into that old way, the master steps in. And have you invoked that master? That master is the one who comes in like a samurai and is so strong and clear that most of the time when those voices come in, the master, the samurai, says, no, you have no domain here. You have no right, no ownership over this being. Yes, I will listen to you. I will dialogue with you. I will be present with you. And you have no right to take over. And I will be watching. And the moment it tries to take over, the moment it tries to sweep you into the swoon of unconsciousness, of that stubbornness, of that blindness, is that master there to say no And have you done the work? Have you chosen to invoke that master strong and clearly enough where it has the power to say no? Because these voices will test you again and again and again. So this invitation is to invoke your master, invoke your samurai. And when those voices come in that start to creep in and say, you're not good enough, or your partner is responsible for all of your own problems, or mom and dad screwed me over and I'm going to stay in this story the rest of my life, or I'm angry at my boss because da 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 da. Man, that's exhausting just going into those stories, just for even a moment. Is your master strong enough to say no? No more. I no longer choose this story. And every time you come back in, I'm going to be there and say no. And I'm going to stand in and see very clearly what really is. Whether I know what it is or not. Am I going to stand there and say, this is something inside of me that does not feel in alignment, in harmony, and balance. So whether I know what is truth or not, I know this is not the truth. This is my story. And you have a moment. These things come in so quickly. These triggers come in so quickly. So you have a moment where it's kind of like you're transcended in time. And we have this opportunity to either choose the old groove, spinning in that again and again and again, back to the old story, back into that victimness, back into the story. Or we can elevate and transcend and say, aha, I caught you. Today is not the day that you take over. I'm going to watch you like a hawk. And every time you try to come in, I'm going to be there. And the same thing tomorrow. And I'm committed to this the rest of my life. And when they do take over, it's bound to happen, especially in the practicing times. When those stories come in and do take over, open to your friends who are in support of you to invite and say, look what you're doing. You're projecting onto me. Look what you're doing. You're getting into that old story of not believing in yourself, not believing in hope, or projecting your anger onto that same person or another person. And if it's not the friendships that are reminding you in those moments, then it's yourself. It's your master saying, Jason, you're caught in this story. You're running, you're fleeing in fear, or you're holding on in fear. The story is there and it's holding on and it's empowering these judgments. Catch yourself. You're already in. You've been in for however long. Let go of the judgment of being in. Now, the master is here. Come on this boat. Step on this way and be clear. And then just watch the story. Watch it. Shine light on it. And just watch it fall away. The story may not go completely away, but the power of it will go away. But the master, the samurai, is not wielding its sword. It's sitting there. But when the hands come on, it can slice in a moment, but then it goes back. And as the master becomes more and more in its power, it will not have to wield, he or she will not have to wield its sword. If you just even look at the beautiful painting, it's that place of presence, that place of stillness, that place of clarity, that place of openness from the heart. The master can be strong and powerful and like a samurai, and yet expansive, full of love, embodiment of that truth, of the soul's truth. So this is an invitation to catch those stubborn stories, those stubborn blind ones within us. And really, truly live from your master. Your master is there, it's inside of you. So the next time that opportunity comes, remind yourself, I am the samurai. I am the master. I am my power. And listen to that voice. Move from that voice. Be still in that voice. And let all unfold. Even if the world is crumbling around you, you can be in your master. That is the